Hi, Michael McKinnon, Security Advisor at AVG, here to talk to you about how you can extend the life of your smartphone battery. Have you ever been annoyed when your smartphone has gone flat and the day is not even over yet? And of course, this problem is made worse if you're traveling and you can't get to a charging unit easily, and maybe you've got some fears around some of the security risks with using public charging stations, which are available in some places like airports, for example. There are potentially some risks in using those. And of course, with modern devices, the batteries are actually built in and can't be changed on the fly. So you can't slide another battery in that you may have charged earlier. And this means, of course, that you're adding extra bulk by having to carry around often an extra battery pack, which can then charge your device on the run. So having a flat battery is obviously very annoying, and we want to try and work out ways of maximizing the battery life as best we can. Let's talk first about the hardware and some of the latest research around the battery technology that's currently being used in devices. And this advice here doesn't necessarily also apply to your smartphone, but also to tablets and also perhaps laptops, modern laptops. And the battery technology that's being used is called lithium ion, and there's another variation to that which is very similar called lithium polymer. Now, in the old days, you may have heard advice about discharging your devices completely and then charging them back up again. And while that advice was good for the older battery technology known as nickel cadmium and also nickel metal hydride, for this newer battery technology, it doesn't apply so much. And so there really is no need to have to discharge your devices. And if you've been believing this myth for some time, you don't need to anymore. What you should be doing is actually making sure that you keep your devices topped up and plugged into a charger whenever you're near a power point. That's the best process to use, and you'll get much longer and better battery life if you can keep your devices plugged in and charging whenever you can. Keep them always topped up. The other thing that's really interesting about lithium ion and lithium polymer is that they're very sensitive to temperature, in particular heat. So if you leave, for example, your smartphone in your car and it's a warm day, you are pretty much doing nothing more than shortening the life of your device's battery over time. So it's really important that when you leave your car, take your smartphone with you, take your device with you. Try not to leave it in any place that's really hot with extreme temperatures. And to give you some idea of the kind of power loss and the effect of temperature, at 40 degrees Celsius or at 104 degrees Fahrenheit, these batteries can have up to a 35% loss in efficiency. So it gives you some idea at such a high temperature of what they're sort of experiencing. So keep your devices out of direct sunlight and keep them nice and cool. And over time, this will actually improve the battery life for you. So great tips there. The next thing to talk about is really around the usage of your smartphone and of course the drain that the phone has on the battery just while you're generally using it. Now my advice here first of all is to make sure that you close any running apps or any apps that are running in the background. On an iPhone, for example, you just double tap on the home button and a menu pops up with the apps listed. You can scroll through the apps and you can remove them quite easily. On an Android device, you're probably looking at a task killer, which will kill apps that are running in the background that way. The next thing to look at is if you're anything like me and you want to check your email every time someone sends you an email and you want to get a notification straight away, of course the temptation is to have your email being checked every minute or maybe even every 5 minutes. And of course this does put extra strain on the battery because your phone is having to communicate with the email server, which is using the data transmission, which is quite costly in terms of battery life. So perhaps think about the email fetch or push features on your phone and reduce that window to maybe checking every 15 minutes, maybe every hour, maybe you get away with every 6 hours or 4 hours, whatever you're comfortable with. But make sure it's not too short because that is going to come at the cost of battery life. Now, in talking about that kind of usage of data transmission, there are other ways that your phone can communicate and other technologies it's using, such as Bluetooth. So if you're not using Bluetooth or you're not using a Bluetooth headset, you can turn off Bluetooth in your phone's configuration and you'll save some power that way. Other things that use power are location services. This is any apps that are trying to determine your GPS location. Turn that off if you're not using it. You'll save lots of battery life that way. And also, of course, Wi-Fi. If you're not having to connect to Wi-Fi networks, there's no point having your phone look for wireless networks that are available and connect, because you're just wasting your battery that way as well. Now, the next tip here is really quite obvious, and it's about the screen brightness. Now, the brightness of the screen on your device does require a lot of energy from your battery to make it really bright. So what you could do is reduce the brightness of your screen down to just an acceptable or tolerable level, and you'll definitely get more battery life, especially if you're getting towards the end of the day and you notice the device is running flat. You can turn the brightness right down and you'll be surprised just how much extra life that will give your device. Now, if you're using an Android device, we'd highly recommend Avg Antivirus Pro, which has got a great performance section built into the app, which contains some great features that will help you manage battery consumption. Specifically, it'll also warn you when your battery's getting low, and there's a great task killer, and you can also profile your apps and uninstall those apps that are using lots of battery power as well. So for more great tips like these, please visit our website, blogs.avg.com. Thank you.